You know what time it is. 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 Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. We are talking to you guys about, well, Future once more. And I titled it, Future is not the future of any baby father. We do not want any men to follow in the direction of Future. And today's going to kind of touch on what's recently happened with him and Brittany. I think another girl, one of his baby mothers, or I should say a woman who mothered his kids. And there was a little bit of a spat that's happened online, and sort of hashtags pray for her and pray for him, etc., etc. So we're going to discuss a little bit about it. It seems like we're discussing this quite a bit in a week. We had Nick Cannon, and now we're discussing Future. I'm sure something else will pop off by the end of the week once more. But if you're new to the channel, please do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification up. Loads for those of you who are returnees. You already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Listen, don't forget as well, stay hydrated because the streets are hot out there, baby. Mineral gang. All right, cool. Let's get into it. I'm going to just go into adding the stream on here, so you guys can actually see. I'm going to small myself up so you guys can see and talk behind it. Let me just make this slightly bigger so you can see as well. So this is one of the posts that was on there with Future, and this was a post that was on Shadesborough, and I thought it was interesting because I think it just kind of gives us a bit of a better story. So Ope's roommates Brittany Mealy coming through with a few more words for Future after she posted an alleged text exchange between him and her son. I don't know if the text is here. So the text is here. So this is where it starts off, what has gone on the internet. And I wanted to say this kind of thing as well quickly. If this text is true, which I kind of think it is, if this text is true, it's disgraceful, right? Like, if you want to see it clearly, let me make it bigger so you guys can actually see it. All right. Text comes through, says, "Tell your mum," and he said, and it's talking to his son. Tell my mum what? Buy you some clothes. It says, "Dad," and then it goes, "Your mother is a hoe." Now, hey ho, listen. There have been many occasions where women have lied, have told themselves, haven't told the truth, and I can understand that, right? From that perspective, I totally get it, right? There's been moments where women will lie, women will even try to sleep with you just to have a baby by you, etc., etc., right? But let's keep it 100% honest and 100% true right now. There are a lot of men who financially want to pay for their children but emotionally do not know how to care for them. They themselves have not emotionally matured to a point where they can give emotional care and love to their children. All they know is toxicity. When we look at Future and the way he moves, all we've seen since he started has been toxicity. Now, there may be some children who are getting a benefit and a reaping of some of his good behavior, but the others who he can't account for seemingly will get the wastage or the last drops of decency that he may have, due to the fact that when you're spreading yourself so thin as a man, as a human being, you can only give so much. And we spoke about this with the Nick Cannon situation, that money does not equate to emotional care. What your child needs is more than just Pampers and formula milk, right? And those things are important: material, food, wealth. Those are for survival. But in order for that child to become a fully fleshed human being that's going to be able to cope with the wiles and the craziness of this world, they need emotional balance, and that comes from a parent who's also emotionally balanced. Now, we talk about attachment styles all the time on this show as well, and we talk about obviously anxious and dismissive and what's one that's abandonment. I can't remember what that one is, but we talk about these kind of attachment styles because due to the way that they have been bred in their environments, in their homes, the way they've had interactions with their parents, it fosters this nature in the individual child, or nurture. It nurtures this attachment in this child that when they go into relationships, they can come dysfunctional. See, so the Bible lets us know what Abraham did with Sarah, okay, was have Ishmael and then have Isaac. For anybody who's out there who wants to understand the importance of emotional care, is that when Abraham had Ishmael, his first son, with the side thing, right, Hagar, right, at the push of Sarah, when he had Hagar, okay, when he had Ishmael, Hagar the mother used it against Sarah. Okay, right? And then he had to send that mother and that child away. Now they were going to be without father protection, father love, care, and affection, right? So now they're without that energy. Okay, and so this begins to create the dysfunction going down the line. Okay, right? Let's look at this. For instance, Abraham lied, so did Jacob, and then so did so did Jacob, right? So did Isaac, sorry. So did Isaac, and then Jacob was a trickster, right? Abraham lied to the same king that Jacob also lied to. I think he's probably the son of the king anyway, or whatever, in Egypt, right? He lied to Abimelech. Then Isaac also lied to Abimelech, and so these things pass on. They're generational, right? Behaviors are learned, but they can be passed on, I believe, also. So you whatever that child is going to see in you is going to take on and begin to foster in the relationships going forward. So if you're not there and you're not being involved, you're causing so much issues. But let's go back to the future situation. I'll explain why I'm mentioning this, right? So here's I think Brittany says this, definitely not cap. The you know what the word is. I got to lie for you, said it. Definitely your number, and so stand on it and pipe down if you don't want to see these recordings posted. On guard, you said it. They need to cancel you. Cruelty to children. Haven't seen him in 3 months, but in the same state, I can keep going. Got a refund on his school clothes today. Petty, cause someone don't want to be sexually active with you and just want to be co-parent. I have been so nice and calm. I'm tired now, but I'm not chill. I do not play about with my kids. I'm a mother first and always going to stand up for mine. Okay, so what we're hearing here, so many bigger, sorry, apologies. What we're hearing here is, what she's explaining is that the reason why we're seeing a more toxic future in that text that came through was because the mum didn't want to play ball. And this is not out of the blue. Like, when I say out of the blue, this is things that do happen, right? Because like I said, when you have a toxic mindset, the ownership, the possessiveness, and then the energy where it's like, if you don't do what I want you to do, then remember, he's in a position of power because he has the finances, right? Then suddenly money becomes an issue. Suddenly my presence becomes an issue, and all these things begin to get cut off because you're used to a toxic way of dealing with things, which is transactional, which gives you a sense of power in the interactions that you have. So this is really important to understand, because like I said, I don't say toxic is a bad human being, but it seems like the fatherhood aspect is missing. The fatherhood thing is missing. We've got a few comments here and everything about how they feel, and she seems unproblematic. I don't think she talks about him very much. I don't think she discusses him very much online or whatever. So this is not out of the blue. And you see a little picture here about dad, your mother is a hoe. So it's like, if this is really true and this is what you sent to your son, imagine the psychological damage you're doing to that child. That child has to reckon with the fact that the father is calling the mother a derogative term, right? How can that be something that we can glorify? Like, I can't glorify this behavior. And the reason why we can't glorify it is because we understand the damage it does. We understand how children, especially men, are affected by other fathers or father figures who don't know how to show love and affection to not only their partners, but to their children too. All this tough love makes for a very tough son, but who's very weak emotionally, right? And that tends to lead to abusive behaviors because the person's always trying to exist in this toxic masculinity that they have, right? There's a few more messages here that you guys can get into. We'll look at this. It says here, when people can't get away with consistently being a father or in their feelings about the mom's life, they text their kids and jump to cruelty to children. I'm done. This is beneath me. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like there's some beef over school money or something like that, or school clothes or something like that. I'm not sure what's going on. Something's obviously happened there. You don't know what it is going on. Stay out. Almost 40-year-old man business. Pathetic. Talking about self-love. He doesn't have none because of you. He treat women this way because of your 11, 12 kids. 11 freaking hell. 11, 12 kids. 11, 12 mums. Can't keep a relationship true. Narcissist. But you're talking about self-love. Girl, shut up. Okay, I don't know if that's the mom talking to the I think that was a mum saying she had 11 kids or something like that. She said, "Lady, she's responding to the mum now, saying, "Lady, be quiet. You barely raised him. Take several seats. Aren't you the person behind closed doors? Said he was wrong to your grandson, and you're going to talk to his dad and pick his stuff up tomorrow, but publicly take his side. You're part of the problem. This man's a product of your household. Apple don't fall far from the tree." And this is where we need to pick up the conversation, right? So anybody watching my video, I've spoken about this. Any mother watching this, because obviously this is as well, when you talk about mothers and fathers, any mothers and fathers watching this, your input into your child's life is very important. Your moral code is so important if what you input into that child. Your standards, what you put into that child is very important. What male figures he has around him, whether it's the mother, whether it's the father, whether it's the uncle, whether it's family friends, some good type of male energy around your son is helpful if it can be done, right? Because we understand a lot of women are not in that space or be able to even have that safety around men, right? Because even uncles are problems, brothers-in-laws are problems. There's men are a problem in general, right? So if you don't feel safe, I can understand this. Right, but what we need to be doing is making sure that we're not standing up for bullcrap. Like, we're not defending our sons. Like, I remember in school, like, certain kids will get defended by their mum, and it's like, blood, that guy was moving mad. And my dad will come in and be like, listen, whatever they said you did, you did. You know what I mean? Now, I don't think either approach is the best, but what I am saying is we can't be coddling these sons, right? Where everything they do, they're right for it. It can't be the case. One, because the world itself doesn't give mad consequences to men when they do stuff that doesn't really break law, but it's moral code. When it comes to morals, okay, which is slightly different to the law in a sense, right? Men don't get penalized in this area as much as women. So when you don't train your son to have good morals and codes of ethics, and you stand up for him in really bad situations where he shouldn't be stood up for, he should be corrected, and you do that, you're breeding this ground for more futures to happen. Future is a product of being coddled, being coddled all through life and being told that he's right when he really isn't right. Dismissing his behavior almost as he's a boys with boys kind of chat, right? So let's say it says here, I think he typed, it said, it's sad when people, let me read it for you guys. It's sad when people can't get their way, so they turn to social media for attention. No matter how much you give a person, it's never enough. We have to really pray for love people because people take it out on everyone else. Hashtag mental health is real. Hashtag empower. Hashtag transformation 101. Hashtag self-love. Hashtag self-care. So obviously he's combating it, saying obviously that she's moving mad. So the story can go either way, right? But what I'm kind of dealing with is less about whether the story is true or not, and more in the case of the fact that if this is really true, then we've got to start talking to our boys about the way that we're behaving, right? About the way that we expect them to behave and what the standards are in terms of behavior. Like, what are we expecting young men in this generation to behave as, right? If we're giving them a standard like Future, we've got a problem. Right, having several baby mothers, having several children with them, okay, with these women, and the women got to take accountability too, because they know his situation by the fifth or sixth one. By allowing ourselves to be put in this position where we're having a spread of children, we're not allowing ourselves the fairness of our kids in future to have the fullness of us as a father. Let's not do that. Right? Because you can't spread yourself over 12 kids in different houses. You just can't do that. Paying bills does not mean you're a good father. It just means you're a good resource. And I make that very, very clear. But I want to leave it to that. I don't want to go too much. You know what I'm saying? I understand potentially that the story might not be all the way true in terms of whether her story is the truth or his is truth. But I wanted to document and just kind of speak on this. If we're going to be men of future, we're going to be men of upstanding character. Let's make sure the moral code is up to scratch. Make sure the standards are up to scratch. Okay, let's lead by example, right? We're not out here trying to have our cake and eat it whenever it comes to women by manipulating, cheating them, using coercive tactics, forcing their hand through power, for instance, having power over them, like for instance, having money that you're maybe potentially withholding from a relationship or paying for your kids, like using that as a strategic way to empower yourself in a dynamic of a relationship. Like, let's not be doing them kind of things, right? And let's not celebrate that. Let's not even laugh about that, because it's not funny. Because the kid in the end is the one that suffers. That kid got that text from their dad that your mum's a hoe. Imagine what that child is going to be thinking. You know what I mean? Like, that's damage. But anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you. Stay locked and stay loaded. We'll see you soon.
Level Blackpool, you know what time it is.